Hi there. My name is Nathan, and this is my story. It all started in the last year of high school, grade 13. Everything was going fine. Teachers were nice. I was getting good grades. I joined the chess club halfway through the year, made some nice friends. And then something happened. It happened. Phobia, fear. It practically ruined my life. I began to be completely obsessed by one thing. My fear of being swallowed, eaten up. Not by a tiger or a shark, but by something far more frightening. I was afraid of being swallowed by a 100-foot-high vagina. I don't know exactly how it began. Maybe a dream or something I ate. I didn't think much of it at first, you know. We all have fears of the dark, of failure. One day I was sitting in math class. The teacher asked one of the girls to write her answer on the blackboard. She was wearing track pants. I guess the way she was sitting had given her a wedgie or something. I was staring at her and I started to feel all sweaty and dizzy. Everything went foggy. All I could see was that wedgie. It practically consumed my field of vision. I began to feel like I was shrinking. And I could feel my hands slipping down the desk backwards as I began to get smaller. The desk started to roll forward. I was working my way towards that humongous wedgie like I was being pulled in by a tractor beam. I just started screaming, "Help me!" The next thing I remember is waking up in the nurse's office. I was pale as a ghost and soaked to the skin with sweat. The next day I refused to go to school. No way. I told my mom I had diarrhea and stomach cramps. I was really just terrified of the same thing happening again. The piece of paper I'd been writing on in class, a crude scribble of myself with a leg caught in something that looked like a giant oyster. Beside it, I had written 4 words, 100 foot high. I knew at that point that I'd never be able to set foot in that school again, unless I got to the bottom of this. It was time for some research. I spent the rest of the week making endless sketches, diagrams, and clay models. I stared and stared at those images for hours on end, but I couldn't seem to recreate the original terror I'd felt in class. There was only one thing wrong with my approach. I had to make it bigger. It had to be 100 feet high. But how? I took a break and walked around the neighborhood a bit. I was buying a wiener when it hit me. Of course, the silver screen. And it's got to be huge in there. Could this be the place where I could confront my worst fear? Well, $8 and 4 hours later, I was back to square one. The theater screen was only 30 feet high. Even the extreme close-ups weren't big enough. I left the theater with a sour face. Things really went downhill after that. I hadn't been to school in weeks, and the truancy notices were piling up. I couldn't go home. I couldn't go to school. I was trapped. But then it hit me. I've got it, the government, the leaders of the people. If they can't help me, nobody can. So I applied for an artist's grant. All I had to do was submit a proposal which detailed the dimensions of the sculpture I would build. With the envelope in the mail, I waited. And I waited. The check would be arriving any time now, and I could almost taste my success. I waited. And the check never came. I wandered the streets once more, searching, searching. Little did I know that the most hideous and fantastic representation of my fear would be hiding right around the corner.
No!